The time has officially come to show you all the shed tour. So you could see by the opening clip that I finally have electric in here. It's actually been a few weeks, and we found an extension cord that is, I think, about 200 feet that will reach from the house to the shed to power things up. So I have enough to turn on my lights, run my computer, run a scale, and run my ring light and charge my phone. So that's all we've tried to plug in right now to power everything up and get some work done. It is afternoon time, so I'm coming out now to pull some of my shipping and take some pictures for listings later and for tomorrow. But let me give you a quick tour around this place. We have all of my inventory out of the garage into the shed here. It is a little bit messy as we get things onto shelves and set up, but I'm going to just give you a quick tour to see how I have everything laid out at the moment. All right, so here we are. I'm actually standing in the doorway right now. So it is probably about 70 degrees outside today. It is late afternoon, so it is a little bit warm in here. But we bought a screen to go over the door that I can keep that open and keep the bugs out while I'm working. We just have to install that. And I can also open the two windows that I have in here as well to keep the breeze going. But let me just show you around. So if you head over towards the right in my office here, you can see there's not many shelves, but there's bins and things stacked. So this is more of my working space and the space where I keep my unlisted inventory. So you can see I've got some bins right here, and I have some bins back in the corner, and then all the stuff on this shelf is all unlisted inventory that I am working on. And then right here next to the door, you can see I've got a makeshift desk. These 4 bins are empty. These are ones that had listed product in it that I have put up on the shelves. So this is just where I come over and I plug my computer in and my scale in when I need it. I've got a speaker for music. So I decided not to put any kind of TV, or I don't bring my iPad out here to watch YouTube. I find that it's a distraction for me. So when I'm really trying to concentrate on getting my listings done and photos taken, music is a great background noise for me without the distraction of a TV. So I have left that out of here. And when I'm working on my computer, I do have this awesome view from my window, which is one of the reasons why we put the shed so far back on the property, is so I could get that mountain view. But if we back up here, I've got a tote down underneath the desk area here with some cleaning supplies. And over in the middle here, sorry, the lighting's kind of bad. The light is shining through. But I have some of my like poly mailers and things like that over here that I grab every day that I need when I'm packing things up. So that's just kind of in the middle aisle. And then right here, I've got this clothing rack. It is the only one I own, so it is kind of doing half and half duty. So everything under the plastic is already listed. I'm trying to keep it kind of safe. These are more like heavier jackets. They're leather, things like that I kind of want to keep protected, and I don't want to keep folded up and stored. And then on the end here are just some of the clothing that I have that need to be listed that I just don't want to get wrinkled. They have been steamed and are ready for photographs. So that is what I have here. In the back corner here is just pretty much boxes, packing materials, shipping supplies. This whiteboard I use at my photo station when I need a bigger board. But really, that's all that is just broken down boxes, bubble wrap, recycled, clean, fill for boxes, and that type of thing. And then if we switch around to this corner, this is more of my listing station. So I've got my one ring light, and I plan on probably purchasing like a panel light or some type of second ring light to put over towards this side instead of having to shift the one light I have around to get some good lighting sometimes. I've got my two mannequins that I keep over here. If I'm putting something on them, I will move the table out of the way and I will move those. I do have a spot up here as well where I can take the table away and I can hang things on the wall as well. So this corner, we just bought like these panel boards from Lowe's. So the rest of the shed is unfinished, but because we put those here, I have a nice white background to take photos against. So this has worked really well for now. And on days when it's nice outside as well, I can also go out and get some natural light as well. But then if we come around to the back side here, like I said, this is my unlisted inventory in these bins here. This is mostly clothing, purses, and shoes in these bins. You can see I'm kind of using it as a tabletop for some of my photo stuff as well. And then if we go down on this back side, in all these priority mail boxes, there are books that I do have to go through. Some of them probably aren't worth listing, or I need to put them in like bundles to list. So I have to go through all that. And then this shelf here is unlisted inventory as well. So up top here is just kind of miscellaneous things that need to be listed and need to be gone through. The second shelf here is primarily electronics. So cords, I've got a couple DVD, VCR players. I've got this check reader machine that I got from my old job that I still need to list and test. But it's just a lot of odds and end electronics that need to be listed. And then on the bottom two shelves are more books and magazines that I need to go through. I've got a couple boxes of unlisted art that has to be listed as well, and then just some Plush and an old vintage fan that needs to be tested as well. And then starting here is primarily all listed because some of the shelves were still kind of empty. I do have some unlisted stuff on this side as well. So, but I have a lot of room to grow. So again, I'm standing back at the door. So we've left mostly the left-hand side of the building for my listed inventory. So straight back here, this is where my husband built me some shelving units. These are all magazines that are listed on these. So I've got, like I said, I do a lot of magazine sales. But I probably do need to call some of these out of my inventory at a future date. Right now, I've just been running some like 20 or 25% off sales on magazines when I need to get things moving. And then this next one is another shelf that my husband built in. It's just some of the books that are listed as well. So that's what it is. And then next two shelves here are pretty much this whole rack is all listed clothing. And I have done an inventory system where I just basically go in numerical order. My spreadsheet keeps them sorted for me. So when something sells, I just go and find the SKU number that I've given it in the spreadsheet. You can see there the SKU and some keywords for my title so I can match things up when something sells. All right, I have 17 boxes of listed inventory so I can access everything. It's all in numerical order. I have more room to grow on these shelves. These boxes are all empty right here, so I can fit another one up top and then 3 more across here. This box is just kind of smaller items like intimates, PJs, swimwear, that kind of thing. Going down here, these are all the hats that I have listed in my store. It's not a whole heck of a lot, but it's all in one spot. And then on this next shelf here, I've got purses and handbags. I've got belts and scarves. And then again, on this bottom shelf are empty boxes where I have some room to grow. And then back in this corner, I need to either get another shelf or do something different. So if you have any suggestions on anything, maybe something other than a shelving unit that would work, I'm all ears. But back here, I've got bins that still have things in it. So I've got like my listed items that are linens and crafts. I've got my shoes in these two bins. So I've got men's and women's sneakers, and then just women's shoes. And then this one is listed plush, and that bottom one is wool items. So I don't want them to be exposed to any kind of bugs or moss that might eat holes in it. My overflow of plush is up here, and in this large trash bag is a gigantic plush. I've got 2 boxes of listed art that needs to come out and probably maybe be hung on the walls or sorted some way. And then back here, I have 1 box of posters and things that are listed. I've got an empty bin here, and this is just some of my unlisted items that are like kitchen related, some pots and pans over here. And then behind this, I've got in that red bin down there is more electronics. The USPS bins are empty. And then I think these boxes here are also more electronics, I think, is what's in those. And then in this corner, all the bankers boxes are empty. They are what housed my magazines before. So I'm not sure if I want to keep them or if I want to burn them or what I want to do with them yet. Some of them are still in great condition where I can store more things if needed. But then if we go around to these shelves here, I've got all my holiday things listed on these 2 shelves, 3 shelves actually, right here. I've got some kind of collectible stuff, glassware. You can see some Briar horses. And then on the bottom are just kind of some odds and ends. And I actually sold one of these 2 brother tapes. I sold those, so I have to pull one of those out today and get that shipped. And the next shelf over is just some baskets and puzzles. I've got my wood items and trays. I've got mugs and breakables and things like that on that shelf. I've got my pottery pieces and some of the larger items on that shelf. And then on the bottom is pretty much, I've got toys in there. I've got a light fixture, that type of thing. This next shelf over is just some odds and ends stuff. Like I said, I need to go back and organize some of this stuff. So I've got some Star Wars figurines. We actually found this in our garage up in the rafters when we were cleaning things out. So I figured I'd go ahead and list that. So that I have nothing into. This is just extra stuff here. I've got some baseball glove and a workout thing there. These are just some odds and ends, some figurines and small cars, and some doodads and some health and beauty products and kitchen stuff, a Keurig thing. And this bottom shelf is actually unlisted stuff. So I've got the dishes all pictured already. I just have to do the listing for that. And then here and over here is, I don't know what to do with them. So I was a collector of metal lunchboxes since I was a teenager. So for more than 20 years, most of this stuff, I collected it when I was like 16, 17 years old, and I'm in my mid-40s now. So this stuff has been with me for a long time. Some of it's got some value, some of it not so much, but because of the sentimental value that I have with it, I have a hard time, or I've been having a hard time convincing myself to let it go and list it. So I'm not sure what to do with that. We put it in here because it is my collection and we don't have a place for it in the house. So I'm thinking of maybe like up top above the windows or above the door, we can do some high shelving and maybe just display the things. Or maybe it's time to just let it go and let someone else enjoy starting a collection or something like that. It's got sentimental value, like I said. And then over here is just some more, actually that bottom box there is more lunch boxes, as well as, I don't even know, yep, more lunch boxes there. I probably have about 100 lunch boxes, if I were to guess. Most of them are metal. There's, I think, a few in there that are plastic ones from the 90s. I think I've got like a Rugrats one and a couple Disney ones in the collection as well. But that's neither here nor there. I've got a big bag up there. Those are just filled for the boxes and everything. It's just packing peanuts and whatnot. And then up there is more listed art. So I've got to get those out and kind of sorted so I know if something sells. And then over here, I've got just a center aisle of stuff. Some of it's listed, some of it's not. So down there are just kind of reusable bags, and some shipping supplies here. Some odds and ends in here. This is more like a catch-all. When I pull something for shipping, I'll put it over here. However, I've got some magazines and boxes, unlisted things and whatnot that needs to be sorted. This bin here is empty. And then up here, I've got some blankets and pillows that I need to photograph and list. And then this whole package here is fabric that I need to go through as well. On this shelf here is a lot of my paper goods. So I have posters, old vintage advertisements. I've got a Wicked calendar from 2008. Some bigger magazines. Let's see what else I've got on this shelf. I got an NSYNC hang thing. I've got a Jurassic World bag. A vintage puzzle. Actually, I need to go into one of these bins as well. I don't know where. I think it's in the bottom bin. Actually, I sold. Let's see if I can find it while I've got you guys with me. I don't see it. It is just like a little Macy's stress ball. Where would I put that? Let's see. No, it's definitely not in there. These are just kind of my small things or flat things. But I don't see it in here. I hope I still have it. Oh yeah, here we go. So it's just there we go. It's just a stress ball. Macy's. I think I got it in college 20 years ago. Probably during like a, I don't know, like an internship or career fair or something like that. They were giving away for free. I think it sold for $12 on Poshmark, which boggles my mind why someone would buy that on Poshmark and pay $7 and something cents for shipping. But they did. That's where it went. It's been listed for a fairly long time. Why won't that close? There we go. So I just kind of keep these color-coded. They're smaller, flatter things in there. And then I'll put these things back up on top. There we go. There's a magazine. And then on the bottom here is just more unlisted things. I think that in the Keurig box is a gigantic snow globe that will not be going on eBay. I think I'm just going to try to sell that locally on Facebook, because I've shipped a snow globe once and it went well. It arrived in one piece, but I don't know if I want that stress of sending a snow globe through the mail again. But the only other thing that I've got going on here is, as I am updating my eBay store and relisting things, things that have been listed a long time, I'm really going in and looking at comps and pulling things out of my inventory. So that's kind of what this box is right now. So I've got a dress, t-shirt, and a bunch of books right now that I've pulled out that just aren't worthwhile to basically be dragging down my store. So there is a flea market that runs on Fridays and Saturdays. It's a couple miles from my house. It's $10 to rent a table. So I think what I'm going to do is probably on one Saturday rent a table for $10 and just see if I can get rid of a bunch of things. Like I said, I have all this unlisted inventory right here. I don't know if I want to really deal with listing it all, or if it's worth my time. I'm trying to start moving away from listing items that'll make me less than $10. And I think there's a lot of items in here that are probably about $10 items or less. So I'm gonna take some time and go through these shelves to see what I can pull out and bring to a flea market. But I am going to go through that. Hi. Well, thank you for joining me today on the shed tour. It was a little longer of a video than I expected, but I am so happy to finally have a space that I can fully get my work done. Happy that we have some electric out here that is not a generator. I think the cord from the house probably will be a temporary solution still. I'm afraid of people driving around and running over the cord constantly. So something to think about, but I appreciate everybody that likes, comments, subscribes to my video. Please give me some suggestions on what you think I should do maybe with the setup to make it more usable, or even what I should do with my metal lunchbox collection. If you think I should sell it off or if I should display it. But again, I appreciate you being here today. I'm going to spend the day going and taking some pictures and getting some listings done on eBay. Thank you all. Bye.